You're not here to talk about that. We'll introduce you properly now. Gary Barlow is pop royalty, so it seems only right that he should be the man behind the concert that's been performed for the Queen at Buckingham Palace to mark her Diamond Jubilee.
Gary has also helped compose the official Jubilee single, and he's travelled the world making a documentary about the recording of that single.
All that, and he's about to become a father again. Gary Barlow's here. I think we can have a little look at what went behind the scenes of the single that you've made. You travelled all around the Commonwealth. Have a look now.
Good morning. Thanks for coming to see us.
Thanks for the big intro. I love a big intro. It's great.
Pop royalty. Does that cover it?
I think I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that bit. Yeah.
Very good. Well, one of the reasons is, I mean, and one of the fascinating things, we'll talk about the journey, but part of it was that you got to meet Prince Charles initially, for a little kind of pep talk, and you sort of you exchanged views on music, and you asked a little bit about his musical taste. Tell us about that.
Well, he was amazing because I went to just sort of ask him a few questions. I wanted a little bit of information on what his mother liked musically, and he came in with a little stack of CDs, and I said, "What's this?" "This is my record collection." I was like, "Have you ever even talked about this on TV before?" He was like, "No one's asked me." And he had some amazing music. And the thing that I noticed was I hadn't heard of any of it. So it was all from like Kenya, from South Africa, from his travels. He's travelled so much. And it was pretty much he who said, you know, if you really want to make the Queen happy, one of her most proudest moments is the Commonwealth.
No Take That CDs in the collection?
Do you know, there wasn't one. I almost stormed out. But for the sake of the film, I stayed.
And you also have Prince Harry playing, what does he play, a tambourine?
You say that like it's an easy thing to do. The tambourine is extremely difficult to play. For anyone who does play, they'll know. But he hits right on beat, and he has a starring role in the video there, and he was great fun. He really was. We met up with him in Jamaica. He was on his Diamond Jubilee tour of the West Indies, and it was actually it was mayhem when we went to see him. He had fans running down the street after
I remember
him.
the scenes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. It reminded me of my old days in a boy band. Long gone, I'm afraid.
Well, I think we can see now there was a young boy, particularly a drummer, a Rastafarian drummer, and I think we can see a little bit at the time that you met those guys. Have a look now.
One kid who does catch my eye is the priest's son, 12-year-old Selassie.
Priest?
Yes, sir.
Can I see his hands?
Selassie.
Wow. They play loud. I would love to try and get him on the record.
Yeah, Selassie was I mean, his timing was amazing. You watch the way his hands move and touch the different parts of that drum. I mean, he really owned that instrument.
Rise up, rise up.
Okay. Okay.
So Gary, just explain to us, you've actually recorded them all. What are you doing, playing the song for him so he can hear the beat, or how does it work?
Yeah, we did it a few different ways. Some people, we actually played them the piece of music with headphones on, and they'd play along to it, or if it was an instrument, they'd play it that way, and we recorded them. But for instance, that particular one, because he was playing a percussive instrument, I literally had an iPhone with a metronome on it in his ear. I was capturing it, and later on I'd get in the car and I'd put him into the track. So there's a few different ways of doing it.
So you have to blend all these together. You're a judge yourself on a certain talent show, but at the end of this process, where you've put together a single yourself, the Queen herself sits in judgment upon your work, and you meet face to face.
Exactly.
And you present.
Well, that's sort of, you know, the thing all the way through it is we want her to be happy with this song. We want her to be happy with it representing her Diamond Jubilee. And so we go down to Windsor Castle, me, Andrew Lloyd Webber, who wrote the song with me, and Gareth Malone, because his military wives are sort of the artist of the record. They're the lead vocals. So we go down to Windsor Castle, and we had 15 minutes with the Queen. We played her the song, and she was, you know, lovely, and she was most excited that we'd collected people together from all around the world, and she was asking about the characters and who they were and what they did, and it was lovely, really nice.
And it's all part of a documentary, isn't it? I love that scene, because I've been lucky enough to see it, of you all sitting in there. You're very calm. You are a very calm person, Gary, aren't you? But particularly there, I could see you sort of taking your time and enjoying it.
Well, I mean, I think for her as well, if you think about her day, you know, she meets dignitaries. There's a, you know, a lot of serious stuff she has to do in her day. I guess it was 15 minutes of fun for her, listening to music, listening to people's stories. And for me, I was travelling around the world meeting these people. I felt it was my job to tell her about them, because we did meet some extremely great characters.
So talk us through what's coming up now, because you've got an extraordinary little patch of time the next couple of weeks or so, haven't you? You've got the concert at Buckingham Palace. You're the boss. You're MC of the whole thing. Give us a flavour, because we've heard, we've heard bits and bobs.
Well, this has been a 2-year job, and we started off by, thinking, how do we make it different from the Golden Jubilee 10 years ago, which was a brilliant concert. And so the major change, I think, was moving it outside of the palace. We're on the Victoria Memorial, right out the front. I think of it like the people's concert, because the one 10 years ago, I felt like it was a bit of an exclusive club. The gates were closed, it was in the back garden. I wanted to open it out to the people. And so we're particularly looking forward to that. Of course, we've got an amazing bill. We've got 3 hours of live music on the night. I'm extremely excited.
You've almost introed the next clip for us.
Okay.
Let's have a look at some of the artists performing at the concert. Whole list of kind of different artists, Gary. Is it your choice, or have you consulted with the people who know the Queen well whether she'd like them playing?
Yes, we put everything through the palace. They know everything that's going on, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we really do have the biggest artists in the world all on one stage. I think what we've tried to do as well is try to get artists that represent all of the 60 years of the Queen's reign. So we've got 50s, 60s, 70s, right the way through to the modern day.
I also wanted to ask you, I understand she might be a little bit unhappy about the time the concert ends. Is she concerned about the noise?
No, it wasn't. It was more the apparatus, because if anyone was to drive past Buckingham Palace right now, you'll see this enormous stage with all the seating, and she was more nervous about how long it was going to be taken to be took down during the night, because obviously a lot of people live in the palace. So.
We're seeing this is a sort of 3D mock-up representation of how things are going to look.
Yep.
I mean, have you got it in your head yet, the scale of what you're involved in?
I think just in the last couple of weeks, if I've been out for dinner or I've been to the West End, I've always driven back past so I could see what was going on. And then it suddenly dawned on me, wow, this is enormous.
Are you going to play? You're playing yourself, are you? Take That are going to do a spot?
No, Take That on. We've got Robbie on the show, and I may be doing something during the show. I'm a bit like Alfred Hitchcock. I always turn up somewhere,
whether
you like it or not.
You get to just walk on whenever you fancy it, really.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching side of stage. I mean, I'm a fan of all the artists who are on there, so I can't wait myself to see the concert.
Will you be nervous on the day that it all goes off successfully? Will you be?
I think we all will. It's live TV. You know what it's like to do live TV. You've always got that edge about you, but it is a lot of live music. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. I really do.
I have to ask you, Take That questions obviously as well. Are you planning a new album? What are the latest plans?
It would probably be next year for us now.
You're a bit busy, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, we've got a lot. Yeah, it's a lot on in the next few months for sure. But obviously, I'm back on X Factor. We did our first auditions on Wednesday. I'm really looking forward to another season of that.
We had Bob Geldof talking to us yesterday, and he became, of course, an extraordinary and very radical voice for Africa.
Yep.
Do you take a chance to sort of stop and think about your own life now? And you've sort of taken on a new mantle, haven't you? I mean, this whole thing with being tied in with the Jubilee celebrations, and I know you've done a lot of your own work with charity work.
Yep.
It's a sort of, you're going into a different direction now as you with respect, get older. And
yeah, I think as you do get older, you start thinking of the world a bit more. And I travel a lot, so I see a lot of stuff, and I see a lot of stuff I think I'd like to help with. And also, I think, I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can make a change, and I can make things work, and I can make money for charities. And I think as long as I've got that, I'd like to try and use it in a good way.
Can we expect something more for children in need this year then, or?
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not planning that far ahead at the moment. But,
let
me get the Jubilee out the way.
Okay, just one last question about plans, Gary. Looking ahead to the Olympics, you said you'd like to carry the torch, and there are rumours that Take That might be involved in the Olympics.
We'll have to wait and see.
Oh.
I can't give anything away.
very good.
See that?
He's very good.
Just to warn you both, you're starting to get a bit of a northern accent. Just to warn you.
Already?
Yeah, already.
I worry. Do you know what? I catch myself sometimes already.
Yeah.
Lovely to see you here today. And the
Thank
documentary is delightful. It's charming. And you go around with just a little laptop recording everything, which is technology is amazing.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. Yeah.
Lovely
Thanks
to see you,
very
Gary.
much.
Thank you so much. The official Diamond Jubilee song, Sing, is out on Monday. The documentary on how the song was made, Gary Barlow on Her Majesty's service, is on BBC One on Sunday the 3rd of June.
Diamond Jubilee Concert, of course, broadcast the very next day live on BBC One and live on Radio 2 from 7:30 in the evening.
Clearly a very busy time for Gary. Thank you so much.
Well, you're not here to talk about that. We'll introduce you properly now. Gary Barlow is pop royalty, so it seems only right that he should be the man behind the concert that's been performed for the Queen at Buckingham Palace to mark. I think we can have a little look at what went behind the scenes of the single that you've made. You travelled all around the Commonwealth. Have a look now.
Good
Thanks
morning.
for coming to see us.
Thanks for the big intro. I love a big intro.
That you got to meet Prince Charles initially.
Yes.
For a little kind of pep talk, and you sort of you exchanged views on music, and you asked a little bit about his musical taste. Tell us about that.
Well, he was amazing because he's great.
Pop royalty. Does that cover it?
I think I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that bit. Yeah.
Very good. Well, one of the reasons is, I mean, and one of the fascinating things, we'll talk about the journey, but part of it was a Diamond Jubilee.
Gary has also helped compose the official Jubilee single, and he's travelled the world making a documentary about the recording of that single.
All that, and he's about to become a father again. Gary Barlow is here.